Hello everyone, my name is Razin, and welcome back to Let's Play Kyuuyaku Megami Tensei 2. Last episode, we teleported over to Lucifer's castle with the help of Izanami, and we had a little conversation with Old Scratch himself. You know, this entire game I feel like has kind of been leading up to an inevitable confrontation or a chat of some kind with Lucifer, the King of Demons, considering from the jump, this entire game has been about a demonic invasion that the heroes are trying to end. And has just been a problem for the people of Tokyo ever since the, probably since the nuclear bombs dropped all the way back in the day, and led to the world kind of being the hellscape that it is now. So, yeah, it kind of seemed like it was inevitable that at some point or another we would confront Lucifer, but instead of having a battle, he decided to actually just have a chat with us after seeing that we had restored Baal to his former glory, and he gave us the down low on the one true god, and said that he was the real problem behind everything, and that we should go beat him up. So Lucifer joined our party, and we're buddy-buddy now. You know, we're friends on Facebook and all that good stuff. Go out for food every Friday and just catch up, ask how the kids are doing, you know. But yeah, we went back to the human world, and then before we decided to go to the final dungeon, we actually went back to Ueno so that I could pick up the Hino Kagetsuchi, which is a sword I am sadly not going to actually be using, because Lucifer also gave us the Lucifer sword, which is just better. So, yeah, I really wish that Asuka could equip the Hino Kagetsuchi. Sadly, she can't. I do have her equipped with the Excalibur, though, so, you know, she's cosplaying Saber right now is what's happening. Which, you know, is fine for what it is, but it's not as good as the stuff that the main hero gets. So, even if it isn't the best sword in the game, the Hino Kagetsuchi is pretty cool. And I would have loved to give that to Asuka, just so that she could hit a little bit more when she didn't have anything else to do in combat. So, I decided to go back to that little icy cavern where Lucifer was imprisoned earlier in the game, because I was kind of wondering, you know, I wonder if Lucifer has any funny little dialogue there, or acknowledges it at all, because I had never tested that out before, and I never saw anyone online, like, you know, report that there's a, you know, anything there. Sadly, there isn't. It would have been cool, or a fun little touch if they added something, but, oh well. I thought it was worth checking at the very least. You might be wondering where I'm going now, and in fact, you might be wondering where you're supposed to go at all, because if I recall, I don't think you ever really got a hint about where you necessarily need to go. But if you think about it, really, there's only one place left in the game that we visited, but didn't really feel like we fully explored, or it just kind of felt incomplete, and that's the Suzuki Company, which we kind of just popped into with the ID card, and, had a little chat and then left right away. So that's actually where we're going to be heading next. But before that, we need to go back to the demon world because I fucked up. So yeah, so this guy's like, there's no reason to go here. So basically, I'm pretty sure that when I left Lucifer's castle, I was supposed to not use my spells to warp back. Actually, what you're supposed to do is go back to Masakato's shrine and then chat with him, I'm pretty sure, and he'll give you an item. You can't talk to him right here in the human world to do it. You have to specifically talk to him when you're in the demon world, and then we're back. So I think I just kind of fucked up the order there, and I kind of wasted a little bit of time having to double back around to do this, but oh well. Though that was weird. I'm not exactly sure what happened there either. Maybe not. Maybe I did fuck this up. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, we warped back to the gloomy village. I think you literally might need to enter the shrine from the demon world. This is really weird. I wasn't sure exactly what the hell happened here. So I went back this way. Go inside. Now we talk to our buddy again, our floating head buddy. And yeah, he'll be cool and give you his helm. Which is, if I recall correctly, the best helm for the main character in the game. So that's pretty nice. We have the best armor, we got the best sword, we got the best helm. I don't remember if the other pieces of armor I have are the best for their respective categories, but even if they aren't, we are more than equipped to take on what the rest of this game has to offer. So, yeah, it's just nice to pick that up if you have the opportunity to. Also, remember that thing I said about me always warping to the Crazy Village because it was the shortest walking distance between the terminal and the shrine? I think I literally just proved myself wrong by warping to the Gloomy Village instead. I think I've just been wrong this whole time, and I proved myself wrong. I'm an idiot. So yeah, Gloomy Village is actually probably the better one to teleport to for going back to the main shrine. So, whoops, my mistake. Sorry about that. Sometimes I'm wrong. It happens in these Let's Plays. Every now and again, I'll trip myself up on something, or I'll miss something. So, learn from my mistakes. But yeah, one other thing I wanted to talk about since we are heading back here now is that you might be wondering, well, probably not actually, but the Suzuki Company is named so because, well, probably named like that because one of the two writers of this game is named Kazunari Suzuki, so it's probably a reference to that guy. The other person who wrote this game, there's a team of two, was Ryutaro Ito, and this team would specifically team up again to write Shin Megami Tensei 1's plot. And then Ryutaro Ito seemed to take most of the main writing reins for the rest of the early Shin Megami Tensei stuff that happened. Though Suzuki was initially, I think, the only writer for the first Megami Tensei game. So it went Megami Tensei 1, written by Kazunari Suzuki, and then Megami Tensei 2 and Shin Megami Tensei 1 were Ryutaro Ito and Kazunari Suzuki. And then from there on, it was mostly Ito, and then I think some other people helped Ito with the various games and stuff like that. And I think Suzuki was still technically with the company for a while, but then left at some point that I'm not exactly sure when. And just had a hand in the games for more of a background production type role or more like higher level stuff. I learned about this actually kind of recently because a lot of ex-SMT creatives are working on a new game coming out called Monarch, which is basically marketing itself as, oh hey, it's made by a bunch of ex-Atlas devs, and it's kind of styled after Shin Megami Tensei F. And before I talk about that, let's talk to this random disembodied head. Is just kind of on this platform with the spotlight on him. Woo! I like this guy. This is a very good NPC. So while this head talks shit about Suzuki, let me talk some shit about the real Suzuki for a second, because that's what this is leading into. So I recently learned from someone on Twitter, and also just kind of looking stuff up about it after. Kazunari Suzuki is pretty active on social media. Like, he's on Twitter. You can find his account and everything. And also, like, in the worst possible way. Like, he feels like it's very, like, reminiscent of, like, an uncle on Facebook. Like, that's the energy he exudes. Like, I'm talking, like, I checked his profile because people are like, yeah, he's fucking nuts. And I was like, I'm curious, what's happening here? Man, fucking, I checked his profile, and the first thing I saw was, like, 3 or 4 retweets of, like, COVID-19 anti-vaxxer shit. Apparently in the past, he said shit about how Trump actually won the election, and Joe Biden's sponsored by Chinese communists. He's also apparently another person who is really big on Japanese World War II crime denial. Specifically when it comes to, like, denying that comfort women were a thing, or, like, trying to downplay how bad it was. Just seems like the worst type of person, so that was very disappointing to learn that. I always hate to see it. And also, I gotta say, I'm very fascinated because Shin Megami Tensei 1 in particular, which he apparently had a hand in the writing of, was a game that, like, one of the early antagonists of that game is a kind of a pastiche of a right-wing Japanese historical figure who I believe was a author who then attempted a coup that failed miserably, or something like that. I need to reread up on the history of the guy, but the person who Goto from SMT1 is based off of was kind of like a right-wing extremist type. So I always kind of assumed that I don't know, I just wouldn't have thought that a right-winger had wrote SMT1 at the very least. I don't know, though. That being said, maybe who knows what Ito's part of the story was and what Suzuki's part of the story was, or, you know, people change over time too, and God knows how many different ways as people get older and all that too, so who knows how that happened. But anyways, a few enemies I want to talk about in this final dungeon here. We have this fox enemy, which I'm forgetting the name of. It just popped up on the screen, which reflects physical attacks. So watch out for this. And then also you can run into a Rangda, which is another Megami Tensei enemy that just shows up in a lot of the games. It's a common enemy. And also will reflect your physical attacks. So you're going to want to just escape from those battles, in my opinion. I decided to fight these fox fellows just to have a good time. Or ladies, rather. But yeah. A few tricky enemies like that in this dungeon, but the enemies that don't reflect physical I don't think are too bad. You may have saw earlier that we ran into a Bylong, so yeah, we're starting to get to these endgame demon types that we got from the Codebreaker game. This part of the final dungeon is probably the most trickiest, especially if you're not using a map. It's full of these turn tiles, it's full of teleportation tiles that'll set you back, and it really takes a while to get here. There's also a bunch of staircases and things that lead upward to, like, other parts of the map. It can be kind of... you can get turned around real easy, but if you follow my route here, I took a pretty easy to understand route. So yeah, I think this final dungeon, it's pretty simple, all things considered, even compared to, I don't know if it's, I don't know, like that room is kind of hectic, but otherwise it's a pretty simple and straightforward dungeon. We're basically trying to get to this fifth basement, and then get to an elevator, is really the main objective we get, and then we go back up to the first floor, and can access a different part of the dungeon. Oh hey, there's Tiamat. Now, yet another boss in this game who shows up once again as a regular enemy. Have we ran into Tiamat before? I think we may have, actually, in a different part of the game. I actually can't remember. You may notice also, too, that we've run out of Magnetite because we got the full party summoned. I just figured we're this late into the game. I have more than enough MP and healing stuff around to make up for the fact that, basically, our party is going to be drained of it, and there's another Rangda I'm trying to run away from. But I'm basically just tanking the fact that my party is going to be slowly sapped of their HP as we continue walking, because I just wanted to steamroll all of these mobs as we ran into them. And you can make it work, you know, if you're kind of beelining it to the end here. You don't need to worry too much. And every now and again, you know, you'll defeat a random encounter and be able to, you know, just enjoy the fact that you got a bunch of Magnetite from that, so you'll be able to walk a few steps before you're down to sapping away your party's HP. But one thing I do want to say, I think it's kind of cool that the final dungeon of this game isn't some celestial palace in the sky. It's not some otherworldly plane or weird metaphysical crystalline series of platforms or something, you know, like in other RPGs. It's just a regular... You basically are kicking down the door of an office to go beat up Satan and possibly the one true god, which makes my socialist heart sing. And you can see this is the third time in a row this has happened in this game. We have reached a boss who, if we were on the bad ending route, would have fought us, but now it has become a friend. So yeah, if you have room in the party, you can let Ahura Mazda join you, which is pretty neat. He's actually a pretty cool party member as well. So, I'm of two minds about this, because I could very easily see someone getting to this point in the game when they're working on the, you know, getting the good ending and saying, man, this is kind of anticlimactic. Every time I get to, like, what's going to be a huge fight, it just turns out to be yet another free demon that the game's given me instead. And I understand that. That being said, I feel like it works for me because it's such a subversion from what other RPGs were doing at this time that I can't help but respect it. I think this is really cool that we just get to three different figures that seems like they'd be very powerful antagonistic forces, and we're basically teaming up with them to go beat up God, which I think is very funny. So, yeah, I like how this game plays around with the traditional RPG structure and how these games are supposed to go. It's pretty neat how this game allowed its protagonist and who was seemingly set up to be the antagonist, Lucifer, to just kind of talk shit out and realize that there is a greater structural problem that they should actually deal with if they want true peace. This is this guard man again from the front entrance. Let's see what the deal is. Oh no, it's Belphegor. Again. You may remember that we have actually already fought Belphegor in this game. He was one of the optional fights, I believe, back in the Demon World. We ran into this guy. And I'm pretty sure after we beat him, he was like, oh, you're pretty good. And then he gave us a, I believe he gave us a piece of, I think he actually gave us Vajra, right? Was he the one who gave us Vajra, the sword? I can't remember what we got from him, but yeah, he showed up to have a real fight with us this time, and we made quick work of him. Even faster than the first time. I actually think he might have the same stats and everything, funny enough. This is the most obvious trap in the world. Don't do it. If you do it, everyone is going to be paralyzed in the party, and then you'll have to fight a boss with everyone starting off paralyzed. What a Chad move. Former hound of mine is a very, very good turn of phrase. I like that a lot. Their banter here is actually pretty good. I like it. I really enjoy here in this conversation how, even if at this point in the game you're on the good ending route and you're maybe doubting, like, is teaming up with Lucifer to go beat up God a good idea? As soon as you get to Satan, who is, you know, God's #1, like, right-hand man, like, lackey guy or whatever, he's immediately like, oh, you're working with humans? How disgusting. And it's like, oh, okay, no, these people are actually just pieces of shit. So, Satan, very, very powerful boss fight. You're going to want to take this guy seriously. I believe he actually reflects force damage, so you're going to want to be careful of that. Look at how much damage Lucifer's sword is doing. Love that shit. One thing you are going to want to be careful of is that he has some very powerful spells. So he has a group spell attack that I believe does a pretty good chunk of damage, called Blaze. He also has Mudodyne, which is a instant death spell that has a very high success rate. Also has Tentarifu, which is going to cause panic if it hits, and it manages to register the status effect part of the attack too. So yeah, a pretty hard-hitting tool set that he has to work with here, and a lot of health that we're going to need to whittle down, but with enough patience, we are going to be able to take this guy down no problem. Now, I don't recommend you go all out for this fight, because we still got one more boss after this one that I think is actually tougher, and you're going to want to kind of bank your resources for. You can see Takuma died, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to bring him back to life. Unfortunately, don't have anyone in the party with Samurai Karma right now, so we're going to need to use one of our Sacred Bells and get Takuma back into fighting shape. It's nice in this game that when you revive with full HP. There's always that awkward moment in some RPGs where you revive a fallen comrade, and then they come back with like 1/10 of their HP, and then it's the enemy's turn, and then your partner just dies again. That always feels bad. Damn, you can see Lucifer's doing big damage too. Everyone else less so, but you know, it all adds up over time. Casting Tetraja, so Mudodyne is going to get blocked if it gets cast again. At least for a little bit. I actually don't remember how long. I don't remember how long Tetraja lasts in this game, but I think it's for a little bit at least. It's good insurance, if anything. Bylong's getting low on HP. So is Asuka, but I trust Asuka to be able to tank a few more hits at least. Really love the ominous background that we have too. And I should mention also too, Satan's sprite, fantastic. I love the later Satan sprite that would be used from SMT2 onward and kind of become the canonical Satan design for most of his other appearances until SMT4 Apocalypse, which also has an even better Satan design in my opinion. I actually think the Satan Apocalypse design might be my favorite demon design in all of Megami Tensei, possibly. It's up there for me. I like it a lot. But no, I like the sprite here, but I also like this grape-flavored Gygus that we have happening in the background too. Very cool looking set here for the fight. Though it also would have been really funny too if we just kept the office background with the desk and two plants in the background, and we were just fighting Satan in like a CEO office. That would be incredible as well. I would have also loved that. You can see I didn't really auto battle here, and that's because, like I said, this guy is a threat. Gonna want to be careful. Yep. He's a threat. Takuba's died a second time this fight. You don't see that happen often this Let's Play. In fact, I think this might be the first fight in this entire Let's Play that Takuba died twice. Not good. Not good. Fortunately, we got 5 Sacred Bells left. Gonna be 4 after this usage. And there we go. Lucifer took out his old rival. A very fitting poetic end. Let's get that 30 in speed. And another 30 in speed. I'll see you next time for the final episode.